All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another Coyote Radio show and podcast. We have a great guest. Ryan's with us of the Shootouts. They got a new record out called Stampede. It's great. Some great features on that record as well. So definitely check it out. And I've probably been a fan for the first time I seen them was at Duke's Indy in like 2019-ish, I think. It was pre-COVID. So ever since been kind of following along, and they're doing great things. So hats off to them for all that. Before we talk to them, I do want to say thanks to everyone that's been supporting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. We're growing. The channel's growing. So it's been a lot of fun. I met a lot of new people, new friends, and we're just going to keep going. We're going to promote good music that you're not really probably going to hear on the radio. So, but you'll hear it here. So, all right. I think that pretty much covers it. Let's go talk to Ryan and see what the Shootouts are all about. All right. Ryan's with us of the Shootouts. Hey, man, I really appreciate you jumping on with us.
Yeah, Justin, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So it's the first time for you on the show.
Yeah.
So we usually start at kind of the beginnings, how the band started, maybe how you got into music. You can kind of just take us down that little path.
Yeah, absolutely. I started playing guitar in high school. And it's funny because before that, I had never really shown any interest in music as far as wanting to participate in it. I'd always liked it growing up, and I'd listened to kind of what my parents listened to, of course, as a lot of kids do. And it wasn't really until high school that I kind of, I came into my own, I guess, as you would say, as kind of a music fan, and really started discovering a lot of stuff in the Americana world. A lot of that music, really changed my life. And it was the one particular record, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road by Lucinda Williams, that really did it for me. And I thought, man, this is a combination of country and blues and folk and rock. And what is this? And it turns out there's a whole world out there of people making music like that. And I was hooked. And it was that particular record that made me want to play guitar. So I told my parents, and they thought I was crazy. And after bugging my parents, for like a month and a half to take me to get one, my dad just actually came home and surprised me with one one night after work. And it was, I think it was like an $80 guitar, just something that figuring like, well, let's give it a shot. Let's see if he actually means business. And I took it up to my bedroom at the time, and I taught myself how to play. And that was it. Now, I am by no means a flashy guitarist by any stretch of the imagination. I am what you would call a solid rhythm guitarist. And that's about it. But I pretty quickly figured out that I enjoyed singing as well. And mostly that came from just, accompanying myself, trying to learn how to play songs and then just kind of singing along. And that was not something that I ever thought I would be doing, or even thought that I was a singer or anything like that. I mean, I didn't even kind of discover that part of myself until playing guitar. And, that's pretty much it. And I think I figured out pretty quickly that, I don't have what you would call a classically trained voice by any stretch of the imagination, or even, I think my voice is kind of unique, and it's probably not for everybody, and that's okay. Like a lot of folks that have unique voices. But it was something that I found out pretty quickly that I enjoyed doing, as well. And I kind of morphed into wanting to be more of a front man, and wanting to be more of an entertainer, and looking up to guys like Bruce Springsteen that, when you go see the Boss in concert, it's like seeing part Carnival Barker, part, rock star, part Sunday morning preacher. It's a little bit of everything all mixed into one. And there was something that appealed about that to me.
Yeah. That's I can see all that with what you guys got going on. I mean, you're blending several different styles, really.
Yeah.
And your voice is unique. Like it has its, which I think is great, because there's so many people that, you put on a record and you can't even, it just doesn't stand out. Like I wouldn't even have to know the song if they put it on and it was you. I would know it was your song just because of your voice.
Well, thank you.
I think that's a good thing.
That's a big compliment. I appreciate that. And there's a few folks that have told me that, and I always take that as the biggest compliment, because I would rather be recognizable and be unique than be perfect. Music I don't think was ever meant to be perfect. I mean, a lot of the best recordings ever made, there's mistakes and little imperfections all over them. And that's human nature. That's how we are as humans, right? We make mistakes along our path, and it's how you handle those mistakes that I think really measure up to how you make you measure up, right, as a person. And I think music is no different, right? I mean, obviously, you don't want to listen to a record full of mistakes, but there is such a thing as a happy accident.
Yep, there is. That's funny because a lot of, I mean, I always tell guys on here that most of the music I listen to it's usually they've already passed away. Like
Oh, sure. Yeah.
even stuff like in the 1920s, and obviously those recordings
Sure.
are perfect.
Sure.
So I've gotten kind of used to that granulated kind of rough edge stuff over the
Yeah.
years in the music world. So
Yeah.
sometimes the super polished stuff kind of, you know, it has its moments, but other times it's just like almost too much, almost too perfect. But
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think that a lot of times nowadays, I mean, kids are growing up with this brand of pop music that is so perfect and processed, in every little minute detail, that when they go back and discover their parents' Led Zeppelin records, and there's that sense of authenticity there that you just, things of that nature, any of that old music. And that goes for not just, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of records. That, I think that can be a turning point for a youthful music enthusiast.
yeah. So you guys are based out of Ohio?
Yeah, the greater Akron, Ohio area. We all live within an hour of each other here in northeastern Ohio. But if you put a pin right in the middle of all of our houses, it would be the Akron area. We kind of claim that as our home. That's really kind of where we got our start, was the general, Akron area. But really, we're fortunate in that we have four markets really, all within a big geographical area. Cleveland, and then a little south of that is Akron, a little south of that is Canton, and then just to the east you have Youngstown. They're all pretty close to each other. And we kind of have, when we first started, we kind of made our mark in all three, Akron, Canton, and Cleveland, and then slowly started getting out to Youngstown too. So, it's funny because we're from, it's not like all five of us in the band are from one town. So generally we say Akron or northeastern Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but for the longest time, I just thought you guys were from Chicago.
Yeah.
Randomly.
It's funny. We're going to be there real soon. We love Chicago. We were just up there recently for a Chicago Music Exchange taping, and we love that town, and we love playing up there. And I mean, it's funny. We get that a lot. People are, I think it's maybe just the fact that people can't even fathom that a country band would be from the northern border of our country. But gosh, somebody said Las Vegas once. They thought we were from. Somebody thought we were from Nashville. And you know what? I think it's fun. I think that's a fun problem to have.
Yeah. I think what it was, I think when I did see you at Duke's Indy perform,
yeah,
I don't know if you were on tour, you were going there or coming from there. Maybe that's
when was that? Do you remember what show that was?
It was a while. It was pre-COVID days.
Oh wow! So that was early on. We were probably right in
Quick Draw was out.
Yeah, gosh, Quick Draw. Yeah, so we were promoting that record. That one came out in 2019. So yeah, it was probably around. Oh, wait, when did that one come out? Yeah, it came out in early 2019. So we were probably promoting that record.
Yep, that's what it was. And that record there, it's still, there's one in Duke's there sitting. You guys signed it, still on the shelf.
Yeah. Every time we've been there to support all three records, and we've left them a copy and autographed them, and they've been very kind to play them and put them up on the shelf and everything. And we love that place. I mean, it's really an oddball. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of Indianapolis, and it kind of sits out of the outskirts of town by itself. There's nothing else around there. But you walk in that room and there is just a cool vibe, and the staff is great. And they've really done a great job in trying to keep it going, since Dustin passed. And
Mm-hmm.
I give them a lot of credit. It would have been very easy just to say, well, look, he's gone. We're going to shut the doors, and that dream is over. But instead, they doubled down, and that is not an easy thing to do. I give them a lot of credit for that. And they they're getting great acts in there. It's a really fun place to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's 20 minutes for me or so, 25.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
Nice.
my home spot basically.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Well, we'll make sure to let you know when we're in town next. We were just there. We were there February 16th.
yeah, I was gonna come, but I was in Texas, so I wasn't gonna
well,
work.
well, that's all right. You probably it was freezing that day. You probably had a little better weather down in Texas.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't remember. So tell me about this new record you guys got out. I mean, it's pretty fresh.
Yeah,
It's
it's
only about a month old now at this
about a
point.
month old. Yeah, just getting its legs. I mean, I'll tell you what. I think in order to talk about Stampede, I got to go back to Bullseye a little bit. Bullseye came out in April 2021. We recorded that record with Chuck Mead from BR549 producing. We did it right at the very, very top of the pandemic. We literally started it March 8th of 2020, and the whole week we're recording, we're watching the world shut down. So it was a very surreal experience to be in the recording studio and trying to, focus on making a record while the world is kind of collapsing around you, right? And nobody knew what the hell was happening. It was a crazy thing that none of us had ever dealt with before. So we ended up heading home when we were done making the record, and it was right at the tip top of everything. And we weren't sure when it would be able to be released or anything. So we sat on it, we finished it, we took our time, we put it out in April of 2021. No more than a month later, a mutual friend said, "Hey, I'd like to introduce you to somebody that I think would like what you guys are doing," and it was Ray Benson. And I was still in the middle of promoting Bullseye. I was doing stuff like this, talking to folks and sharing information about Bullseye, and all of a sudden, here we are talking to this 10-time Grammy winning legend about making a record. We were not planning on making an album so soon, but when my friend talked to Ray said he's like, "I really dig these guys. What do they need?" And he said, "Well, why don't you produce a record for them?" And I have to give my friend a lot of credit, because that was a pretty bold move. And here we are, 2 years later, with the record that Ray produced along with his son Sam Seifert. And they're a fantastic team, and we got to work with a whole bunch of our idols and heroes as well. And it really, it was something, like I said, that was unexpected. And sometimes you just have to let fate kind of, make the chips fall where they will. And I couldn't be happier with the way this record turned out and the response that it's been getting. And so, same thing. We took our time. We wanted to do it right. We spent from September of 2021 through about, I'd say, March or April of maybe April or so of 2022. And then we just said, let's do this right. Let's make sure we have the right team in place. Let's make sure we have enough time to get all the products, instead of, I didn't want to put a record for sale without having vinyl or some of these other things. I wanted to make sure that we were, really putting all of our ducks in a row. And so we took our time and we found the right home for it with our friends at Soundly. Great radio and records and promotional team, and signed on with a new booking agent at the end of 2021 as well. So it was kind of a whirlwind. We basically went from one record right to the next.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty quick turnaround, really.
Yes, it's very quick turnaround. Yeah, not expected. I mean, like I said, the record came out end of April 30th, 2021, and by the first week of September that same year, we were back in the studio.
Yeah. So, you watch bands grow, and
Yeah,
there's always different, ways that goes. Some guys are out there grinding for 10 plus years before they kind of make it. I feel like you
sure.
guys are on a faster pace. Like you're getting a lot more recognition, having success.
Yeah,
Just recently played the Opry here, recently, and
yeah.
it's like you're taking bigger steps, it seems like, than what most bands have to go through.
It's funny you say that. I think that I would say that I don't think there's two things I would say. I don't think our journey has been all that different from a lot of bands. I think that the difference is that you don't oftentimes, I mean, even with Chris Stapleton, all of a sudden his first record comes out. It seems like he seemingly came out of nowhere. Who is this guy? All of a sudden, here's this great voice, and the first record is winning all these awards, and he's off and running. But if you go back and you look at all the fine points and all the fine print, Chris Stapleton had been writing hit songs in Nashville for a lot of other artists for many, many, many years. He had another band called the Johnson Brothers. I mean, he was in Steel Drivers as well. So, if you count all of that, he was a 15-year overnight success. So I think that, this band, we actually started at the end of 2015. Here we are, 2023. We put out 3 records in 5 years. It really, I think part of the other side of that coin is that I've been, a singer-songwriter doing solo stuff long before the Shootouts, and I'd had some successes and had some losses, just like any other musician. And when the Shootouts started, it was meant to be a side project. This was never meant to be anything other than, let's just go have fun. Let's do something that our heart believes in. And we don't care if anybody shows up. We really just wanted to go out and have fun playing traditional based country music, but kind of doing it on our own terms, and paying tribute to the music that we love and the folks that we idolize. And that was it. That was the goal. And we played our first show, and it was like a bolt of lightning, man. I mean, I just, all of a sudden, everything that I had learned before seemed to click. Everything, about not just, leading a band, but how you market, a band. And I mean, just all the way down, just all of a sudden clicked. And I thought, I think not only are we doing something that we love, but I think we're onto something. I think others might like this too. And that was it, man. That was it. We were off and running. I never looked back. I mean, I haven't done a show under my own name, playing my own solo stuff since 2018. And even then, that was just kind of a final show type of a thing. I hadn't done it for about a year before that. I truly believe in the Shootouts. I believe in our mission statement, which is basically just carrying the torch for traditional country music. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to be mimicking it, or that we need to be trying to copy it, but we can take all those influences, whether it be Bakersfield, classic Nashville, to Western swing, honky tonk, bluegrass, all of it, and kind of running it through our Rust Belt roots here, and letting that come out naturally. And that's, to me, that's what all these other artists did. That's what, Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and the Louvin brothers and on and on. That's what they did. They took their influences and they figured it out with their own journey. And that's what we're doing. I feel like we would be doing a disservice, to our mission statement if we were just, complete and total copycats. I think every record we've continued to show growth and continued to define our own sound, So it might seem like it's been quick. I mean, and honestly, since the first record came out, that was 2019. So it's, it's been, and we started making that in 2018. So probably, 3 records in 5 years, including a year and a half break, forced break in there. But part of that was me just saying, all right, if we're going to do this, let's do it, and let's mean business, and we're going to work hard and, and put all the pieces together and do it the right way. And, I mean, nobody's ever looked back at a project and said, boy, I wish I would have rushed that. I think that with us, it really comes from experience, working with the right people, the experiences that I had before this band, and just trying to put the pieces together. And when you are stacking, the deck in the right way, you're going to make better progress.
Right. Yeah. The growth does show, like you said. You feel like it.
Thank you.
How was it working with Marty?
I mean, what can I say? He is everything you would want him to be. He is such a Southern gentleman. We opened a show for them, and they were pretty with us, and were just so sweet and kind to us. And of course, we were blown away by them. And we've been fans forever. And we started this band. One of the bands we modeled ourselves after was Marty and the Superlatives, you know? And so we struck up a conversation with them and told them about the record and that Ray Benson was producing it. And our guitarist Brian, who is normally does not do this type of thing, he spoke up and asked him if Marty would join us, and he said, "Sure, I'll play all over it." You know, so Brian and I went to Nashville and worked with him for a couple hours at Sound Emporium in Nashville. Absolutely stunning studio, and he played mandolin on 2 songs, the same song but an acoustic and an electric version, and was such a gentleman. I mean, just he looked at Brian one time while we were recording, and he said, "Don't let me get away with anything." He goes, "If I make a mistake, you stop and tell me." I mean, he really he wanted to serve the song. And even in his choice of instrument, I said, "Do you want to play, B bender? Do you want to play Clarence, And he said, "No, you got yourself a great guitar player." He goes, "I think I'm your mandolin player." And I'll tell you what, he was right. That song is better for that choice.
Yeah. I love how you open the record with it too. It's a very driving sound. It's great. It's real crisp.
Thank you.
It's a good pace for what you're getting ready to experience throughout the whole record.
I appreciate that. I always like trying to come out of the gate with something that's a little, I don't want to say showy, but just something that sets the mood, if you will, and builds an excitement. I mean, the last 2 records we've done that same thing. We've come out of the gate with a song that has a little oomph to it, or a little bit of upbeat, maybe just in tempo, if nothing else. But I don't know. I mean, first impressions go a long way, man. And I think if we were to start off with some 5-minute slow song, I don't, would people still be around by song number 12? Maybe, maybe not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just like you probably wouldn't want to open a live show like that. So same idea.
Yeah. We always come out of the gate with blazing. I mean, a matter of fact, nowadays we have kind of this little, I don't want to say medley because it's not a medley, but we basically weave together 4 songs, and right when one song ends, we go right into the next song. And right now there's 4 of them at the top of the show that we've managed to put these little transitions together. So, we're hitting folks right out of the gate with a pretty breakneck pace there. And, I think in general, we are an upbeat, fun band, and this whole thing, we take it very, very seriously, but also, with our hearts on our sleeves and a little bit tongue in cheek sense that, country music, I've always felt like country music at its best is when it you a little bit of everything, right? It can make you sad. It can make you laugh. It can, make you excited. I mean, I want to try to bring all those things to a Shootouts show.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I was curious about, who does your album art? I love the album art. They stand
I do
alone pieces. Do you? That is great.
I'm a graphic designer by trade, man, and so we save a lot of money each album cycle by not having to pay somebody, because I do everything. I mean, all of our graphic design that you see, everything, posters, flyers, our logo, the album covers, all the album artwork, everything like that, I design.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that.
I play a little bit too on my end, but I'm not that serious.
Hey, listen, you got to start somewhere, man. And I've forgotten more about graphic design than I would care to admit, but and just changes so quickly, just like the music business. Technology changes, and you got to really try hard to stay up with it. So, it's just you just got to stick with it. It's like anything else.
Right. I work at a taxidermy shop for my father-in-law, and
I can see back there. Yeah.
Yeah, I got stuff hanging everywhere. But so it's always a great place where I'll be working on a deer or something, and I'm stationary for good chunks of the day, most of the time, where I can just put on a record and go to work.
Yeah.
And I blare it. Everyone else has to listen to what I'm listening to. Basically, I control the music in the shop for sure.
Yeah.
So I've been running your guys' stuff through the wheelhouse. My wife's a big fan too. She was at the first show that
Awesome.
when you were at Deuce, and
That's very appreciated. Yeah, thank you so much. Tell her we said hello.
will do. So now you also have a song that ended up on the hit TV show Yellowstone. Did you see any?
Not that I'm aware of.
You didn't?
No. Oh God, I wish we did.
I was gonna say. Okay.
No, I wish we did. That must be somebody. I mean, there's been a lot of music on that show, and that is something we would love to have happen, but not yet. Not yet for us.
Oh, send them. Send them.
Yeah.
I thought you
if
guys
you know
had
anybody,
a song on there.
No, I wish we did. I wish.
Man, dang, I was hoping you did because that I wanted to see what like if you notice any instant like push.
No,
from
I mean,
mention.
I think everybody who's been on that show musically has had a pretty massive bump. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But not us yet. We're working on it.
Yeah. So what's next? You got the record now. You're kind of promoting that. You basically gonna push this all on tour, right?
Yeah, we've been really on the road quite a bit lately. We from February 16th to March 16th, we were gone. I think we were on that particular run. We were at 17 cities in 9 states, 22 shows, including the Ameripolitan Music Awards, our Grand Ole Opry debut, February 24th. Venues all over Texas, Mississippi, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Kentucky. We were all over the place. And then we're still out, right now at the end of March. And then we're going to take most of April off, just doing a couple shows in our woods, and then back at it again in May with like another 15 shows. And we'll be out quite a bit this summer. I would say, in July, we're going to do another run all the way through Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas and some areas out there again. I think in August we'll be back on the East Coast. September we'll be down in Nashville for Americana Fest, as well as some other dates. And I'm thinking it looks like in October we might be doing a West Coast run for the first time.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you guys are busy.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see that.
No rest for the weary. And again, I mean, it's one of those things where the music business isn't what it used to be. People can't, you can't just sit back and have people come and knock on your door and hand you a check. I mean, and that has, there's certainly been many stories of people working their butts off. There's also been stories of people, that were, thrown millions of dollars to make records, and that just doesn't happen anymore. And record labels, gosh, even when you're on a big one nowadays, it's very different than it used to be. And so, you really have to make things happen for yourself. And it's no different than any other business. If you want to start a business at I don't care if you're a bakery or gosh, I know any business. Let's say you're starting a bakery. I mean, you still need to buy all the equipment. You need to learn how to bake. You need to advertise. You need to have your place look great. I mean, all those things that go into any business go into trying to make a band a business. It's just right. That unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, our storefront happens to be 50 states and beyond.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Americana Fest, I'm going to try and make it out there. I think it's conflicting with my schedule, but yeah. Any other festivals that
we've got a few. We're going to be in Nashville in June for WMOT's Roots on the River Fest. We haven't announced that yet, actually. So, this is going to be a little teaser for that. And some other stuff in the works. I think there's going to be some other festivals coming here. But we're just slowly but surely trying to fill our calendar this year and trying to do it with the right dates. And we're seeing, slowly but surely growth at every show, and we're just going to keep going out and hammering away at it. And, hopefully every show just continues to get better.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Fill me in real quick on American or Ameripolitan Awards.
Yeah.
How was that? That looked like a blast.
Yeah. So Dale Watson, a country music, Texas legend, he put together this Ameripolitan Awards a few years ago. It's been a while now, probably even close to a decade, I think. And it's a way to for a lot of different folks that are doing what we're doing, those country acts that kind of color outside the lines from mainstream country, to kind of all get in the same room together. People are recognized. We've been nominated twice for best honky tonk band. And there's a lot of showcases. It's rockabilly, it's honky tonk, it's outlaw country, it's western swing, and it's really fun. It's a chance to get to meet other people that are doing what you're doing, chance to meet fans that are into this genre, and it's a pretty cool thing Dale's got going on there in Memphis. So that happens every February, the Ameripolitan Awards.
Yeah, yeah, I want to go. Once again, that was during the time I was in Texas, but
yeah,
maybe next year.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I saw
Not
you guys
too far from where you're at down there. Memphis is what, 5 hours, 6 hours?
Yeah, about 5.5. Yeah,
Yeah.
right in there. I saw a picture you put up with my friend Sierra. I was like, you guys were all dressed up and had to get up on, and
Yeah.
it was a good picture.
Yeah. We got to, obviously fans of her music and have a lot of mutual friends, but that was the first time we had a chance to say hi to her, and got a picture with her and everything. And she was sweet as can be.
Yeah. Well, good deal, man. Well, I'm glad you guys are having success, and
Thank you.
just keep it up. You know,
Thank you, man. I
that's
promise we will.
This podcast, that's basically same idea as what Dale's running with is, we're trying to promote the stuff that's not on your everyday radio.
Yeah.
Stuff that we think's good,
Sure.
But I keep saying we, it's just me. I don't know.
That's all right. Hey, look, it's all about the impression, right? You gotta, you have a bit, you should, don't tell people that. Let them think
I have
you
a
have
whole
this
team behind
whole
me.
team back there helping you write and produce.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that what everybody does? I don't care
Pretty
what
much.
I don't care what your profession is. There's a little bit of that in every one of us.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else you want to fill us in on before you
Gosh,
go?
I mean, folks can check out our website at shootoutsmusic.com. We've got a whole bunch of fun stuff up there. I'm a big vinyl fan, vinyl freak. I've got tons of it. I love it, especially colored vinyl. And so we had some real fun with this new record. We did it on 5 different colors, one of which is a indie retailer exclusive. We have some that are exclusive just to us at our website. So if anybody else out there's really into vinyl, especially colored vinyl, we did some pretty cool stuff with this album, and all our tour dates are up there. Music videos, we did a couple music videos for this record as well. So a lot of information, photos, videos, all sorts of stuff over at shootoutsmusic.com. And we're on all the social media platforms as well, at Shootouts Music on everything, I'm pretty sure. So we'd love to connect with folks and hopefully see them at a show.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you. Maybe we'll do this again in the future when the next one comes out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the support and would love to see you again next time we're passing through Indiana. Like I said, we're going to be out there in May in Nashville, Indiana, at the Brown County Playhouse, and I'm certain we'll be back at Duke's before too long.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, you enjoy your evening, and good luck out there.
Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
Yep.
Stay in touch.
Will do.